All right. All right. I'm going to work through Python Review 3. So make yourself a REPL that's Python that's called Review 3. Pardon me. And in here, I'm expecting you to walk through the review document. For example, I'm walking you through for loops. So you can copy the first example, have the PDF open in another window, and num list equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 4x in num list. Now this has to be indented inside. So I copied it from a PDF and brought it over here, but then I had to do that to fix it. And it prints 1, 2, 3, 4. Anything I put in this list, if I have this list, I run it, it's just going to print everything in the list. And then I give you an example of another loop. I just, again, copied this out and pasted it. And this prints all the animals from this list. Then I show you how to do a list with the range call, 4x in range 0, 5, print x. And this prints the numbers 0 through 4. See right down here. And then I show you another more complicated way to print numbers in a list, and I'm not going to do that one right now. And then I show you the modulo operator, and that's if I do some number modulo some other number. What it does is it divides the first number by the second number and gives you the remainder. In this case, we're going to get 1, right? Because any odd number, if you divide it by 2, is going to have an odd, 1 number remaining. So just to show you, if I made it an even number, I'm doing a blank line here, so it really calls it out. 124 divided by 2, the remainder is 0. So that's what modulo does. And then I give you a program here. Again, you have to do some indent fixing if you copy the program out. But this asks the user for a number, tells you what you numbered, and says it's going to find all the factors, and then does a for loop from 1 up to the number. You have to do one more than the number you're trying to go to here in a range call. Remember this range call right here? I said 0 to 5, and it gave us 0 to 4. Anyway, this final program asks me to enter a number. I'm going to say 240, and then it finds all the numbers that are factors of 240. These are all the numbers that divide evenly into 240. Okay, so then now, finally, for today's program, select all, delete all of that, or fork your REPL so you have a copy if you want to keep all that stuff. That's fine. All right, so now in a program called Review 3, I want you to ask the user for a number. Int input, please enter a number. All right, except I said it should be x. And then ask the user for a second number. Y equals int input, please enter a second number that is smaller than first number. Okay, and if it's not smaller, start over. Well, now it means we're going to have to be in a loop while true. And let's indent both of these so that those two calls are inside the loop. So now it'll ask for a number and ask for a second number. So right here we can say, hey, if y is greater than or equal to x, print the second number has to be smaller than the first number. Continue. So let's try this out. Here's number 44, and I'm going to say 45 for the second number. And it says, hey, the second number has to be smaller than the first number. Please try again. So to get out of this loop, we have to say break. That way, if it's not, and you could say else break. This will be really clear. So we'll run it. 4 is the first number. Second number is 5. Second number has to be smaller. Please try again. Okay, first number, 4. and then I enter 2, and it leaves the loop. See, it's not running anymore. Okay, but then it says use one or more try except structures to make sure the user is actually entering numbers. Okay, so right here, we're going to say try, and then we're going to indent the X and the Y. Right here, we're going to say except value, small v, value, no, capital V, value error. And right here, it has to be a number. Please try again. And then right here, we have to say continue. That sends it back to the top of this loop. So here it asks for an X, asks for Y. If at any point they don't enter a number, actually, it says it has to be a number. Please try again, and it goes back to the top. If they enter a valid number for X, but then an invalid number for Y, it goes back to the top, and vice versa. So, and then once it is a valid number, it doesn't trigger the value error, and then it does this if Y greater than or equal to X and all that stuff. Finally, the break over here, we backspace all the way out to the far left, and I'm going to write hi just so you can see when we get to that spot. So right here, please enter a number. If I don't enter a number, it says it has to be a number, try again. And if I say 4, and then I say 4 for the next number, it says, hey, the second number has to be smaller than the first, please try again. And now if I say 4, and I don't enter a number for the second one, it says it has to be a number. So now finally I'm going to say 43, and I'm going to say 7, and then it says hi. Okay, so we've finished all the way up through the try and accept part. We have 4 more requests to do. It says once you have 2 numbers, make a for loop go from 1 to X. So instead of the word hi here, remove that. For X, sorry, we can't use X here, but for N in range 1, comma, X plus 1. So if we want the numbers 1 through X, we have to do an X plus 1 here. Okay, now we're in a for loop. Report all numbers less than X that are evenly divisible by Y. Okay, so if N modulo Y equals 0, so this is, N is going to be the numbers 1 through X. If the current number is divisible by Y, it means there's no remainder when you divide it by Y, then we're going to report it, print N is divisible by Y. Okay. And we're supposed to be counting how many numbers fit this attribute. So let's say count equals 0. So before the for loop, we have to set this count to 0. And every time we find one, we're going to say count equals count plus 1. So that's keeping track of how many times we found numbers that were divisible. And then I hit the down arrow. We're back here outside of the loop again. So be out of the for loop. Don't be indented. Be on the far left and say print there were, comma, count, comma, numbers less than, comma, X, comma, divisible by. All right, let's see what happens. And my example was 43 for X, 7 for Y, and then it says there were 6 numbers less than 43 divisible by 7. So you could do that as your output, and you should get exactly what I have here. And then finally, use the following list variable to create output that looks like the output shown below. So copy, it says, please copy this list out of the PDF. So we're going to go here and paste. I have the PDF open in another window. And the output is a bunch of stars. It looks like where there's the number 2, it's printing 4 stars. I'll copy out. I'll copy out the. Oh, come on now, you can do it, computer. Just so you can see it. Here's so this is what the output's supposed to be. So where there's a number 2, we're going to print 4 stars. Where there's a number 4, we're going to print 8 stars, and so on, all the way down to the end where we have a couple number 2s and a couple 4 stars. So we're going to do a for loop for x in nums, and we want to say x equals x times 2. That way we have twice as many stars as this number, and then we're going to print a star times x. Let's see what happens. I'm going to do 43 and 7. Oop. Oh, I have, I guess this was not properly a comment. Comment like that I was trying to do here was, should be 3 quotes, not 3 hashtags. So, oh, come on, you can do it. Here we go. So we're going to enter 43 for x, 7 for y in just a second. Yeah, it seems like REPL is, oh, here we go. 43 for x, 7 for y. And then there's all the numbers printed out just like my example. So if your program, I'd encourage you to, before you think you're done, test your program by hitting enter instead of a number. Enter a number for the second number that's bigger than the first number. Make sure that works. And then, then finally you could do 43 and 7, but don't only test it working. Got to test. That's the whole point of the try except function, is that you're testing that it's not working. If your program doesn't work for that part, review right here. This whole thing, this is all very specific from lines 2 to 14. If you don't have it, there's different ways to arrange it. I'm not saying this is the only way, but if your program isn't working, then look at the indenting. You need to try and accept at the same level of indent. And the accept needs a continue command in it. And then after you need, but still inside the while loop, you need to have an if that checks that the second number is smaller than the first number. And the way to do that is to see if the second number, one way to do it is to see if the second number is greater than or equal to the first number. And there's other ways to do it. All right. Good luck.